So, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It feels like every single year we talk about the rise of electric vehicles, but 2025 is shaping up to be something different. This isn't just about a few new models hitting the market. It feels like we're at a genuine tipping point. The technology is maturing, the charging infrastructure is expanding, and most importantly, the prices are starting to make a lot more sense for a lot more people. The conversation is shifting from if you should get an EV to which EV you should get. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. The market is getting crowded, which is a great thing for us as consumers. It means more competition, more innovation, and better prices. But it also means it's getting harder to figure out where the real value is. We're going to break down the best value electric vehicles for 2025. The ones that give you the most range, the best tech, the most performance, and the best overall experience for your money. I've spent a ton of time with these cars, and some of the results might actually surprise you. We've got a lot to cover, from updated icons to new family-friendly contenders. So if you're even remotely curious about making the switch to electric, or just want to see what the best of the best looks like for 2025, you're in the right place. And hey, if you end up enjoying the video, do me a solid and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, let's kick things off with a car that, for many people, is the default EV. This is the 2025 Tesla Model 3, specifically the updated Highland version. Now, I know what you might be thinking, another Tesla, but hear me out. The reason the Model 3 continues to be on these lists and why it's a strong contender for value is because Tesla has been relentlessly refining it. They've been chipping away at the small things, improving efficiency and streamlining production to keep the cost down. The 2025 model is the culmination of all that work. The first thing you'll notice is the updated exterior. It's sleeker, more aerodynamic. The front end is cleaner, the headlights are slimmer, it just looks more mature, more premium than before. And those aero improvements aren't just for looks, they contribute to an even better range. Depending on the trim, you're looking at well over 300 miles on a full charge, which is still a benchmark in this price bracket. For the average person's daily commute and weekly errands, that's more than enough to eliminate any range anxiety. Inside is where the Highland update really makes its presence felt. The cabin is noticeably quieter thanks to better sound insulation and acoustic glass. The materials feel a step up from the previous generation, addressing one of the biggest criticisms of the old Model 3. They've also added ventilated front seats and a new rear screen for passengers to control their own climate and media. Of course, you still get the core Tesla experience. The minimalist dashboard dominated by that super responsive central touchscreen, the seamless software updates that add new features over the air, and that signature instant acceleration that still puts a smile on my face. And then there's the supercharger network. This is still, in my opinion, Tesla's biggest trump card. You just pull up, plug in, and it works. For anyone planning to take their EV on a road trip, the peace of mind that the supercharger network provides is a massive value proposition in itself. So, when you combine the improved refinement, the solid range, the class-leading tech, and the unbeatable charging infrastructure, the 2025 Model 3 presents a really compelling package. It's not the cheapest car on this list, but for what you're getting, the overall value is undeniable. It's the refined, polished, and still dominant default choice. Next up, we have a car that proves EVs don't have to be boring. This is the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and it still looks like it drove straight out of a sci-fi movie. I absolutely love this design. The sharp angles, the pixelated parametric pixel lights, the retro-futuristic hatchback shape, it's just so unique and unapologetically bold. In a sea of generic-looking crossovers, the Ioniq 5 stands out in the best way possible. It's a conversation starter, and that's part of its appeal. But the Ioniq 5 is much more than just a pretty face. It's built on Hyundai's eGMP platform, which is a dedicated 800-volt architecture. Now, what does that mean for you? In simple terms, ridiculously fast charging. If you can find a 350 kilowatt DC fast charger, you can take the Ioniq 5 from 10% to 80% in about 18 minutes. Let me say that again, 18 minutes. That is game-changing. The interior is just as forward-thinking as the exterior. Thanks to the flat floor of the EV platform, The cabin feels incredibly open and spacious. It's like a lounge on wheels. The dashboard is clean, with two 12.3-inch screens housed in a single panel, creating a beautiful widescreen digital cockpit. And my favorite feature has to be the sliding center console. You can slide it back and forth by almost 6 inches, which completely changes the feel of the front seating area. For 2025, Hyundai has continued to tweak the formula. They've introduced a new, larger battery option in some markets, pushing the range even further, and have made some software improvements to the infotainment system to make it more intuitive. Another killer feature of the eGMP platform is Vehicle to Load, or V2L. You can power a laptop and electric grill at a tailgate, or even charge another EV in a pinch. This level of utility adds a whole new dimension of value that goes beyond just driving. So, with the Ioniq 5, you're getting a car with a design that turns heads, some of the fastest charging speeds in the entire industry, a spacious and versatile interior, and clever features like V2L. It's the perfect choice for someone who wants their EV to be as much a piece of technology and design as it is a mode of transportation. Alright, now for a car that caused quite a stir when it was announced. Putting the Mustang name on an electric crossover was a bold, some would say controversial, move by Ford. But after spending a lot of time with it, this is the Ford Mustang Mach-E, and it absolutely earns its place on this list. Ford managed to infuse the spirit of the Mustang, fun to drive, into a practical everyday EV. The first thing you feel when you get behind the wheel is that it's genuinely sporty. The steering is responsive, the handling is surprisingly sharp for a crossover. The power delivery is immediate and thrilling, especially in the GT trim. Ford offers a few different battery and motor configurations, so you can choose your level of performance and range. Even the base models are quick, but if you want that neck-snapping acceleration, the GT Performance Edition will do 0 to 60 in the mid 3-second range. It's a proper performance machine. For 2025, Ford has focused on improving the core EV experience. They've introduced a new lighter rear motor that's more efficient, boosting range across the board. The extended range RWD model is now targeting an EPA estimated range of around 320 miles. They've also significantly improved DC fast charging speeds, cutting down time back on the road during trips. Inside, the Mach-E blends traditional car design with modern tech. You get a sleek, 15.5-inch vertical touchscreen in the center that controls almost everything. It also has a really satisfying physical volume knob integrated into the screen. One of the best things about the Mach-E is that it just feels like a well-built, substantial car. The cargo space is generous. You get a usable a front trunk, that's even drainable, so you can use it as a cooler. And now, for 2025, all Mach-E models come with an adapter that allows them to access Tesla's supercharger network. This is a massive deal. It instantly expands the number of reliable fast-charging options available to Mach-E owners, effectively eliminating one of Tesla's biggest advantages. When you combine the sporty performance, improved range and charging, practical design, and access to the supercharger network, the Mustang Mach-E becomes one of the most well-rounded and compelling value propositions in the EV space. Okay, the cars we've talked about so far have been fantastic, but they can still be a bit of a stretch for the average family budget. That's where this next one comes in. This is the Chevrolet Equinox EV. Its mission is simple: make a practical, no-nonsense electric SUV accessible to as many people as possible. Based on pricing and features, Chevy is taking that mission very seriously. This might be one of the most important EVs to launch in 2025. The headline feature here is the price. The base 1LT starts right around the $35,000 mark before tax credits. That's aggressive for an electric SUV of this size. At that price, you get a GM estimated 250 miles of range. More than enough for most daily driving. This pricing can pull people away from gas crossovers like the Ray V4 and CR-V. Even the base model doesn't feel cheap. You get a modern interior with an 11-inch digital instrument cluster and a huge 17.7-inch infotainment screen canted toward the driver. The screen runs Google's automotive software, giving you Google Maps, Google Assistant, and the Play Store in the dash. It's bright, responsive, and easy to use, Move up trims and you can get a larger battery with an estimated 319 miles of range and add all-wheel drive. Chevy offers flexibility with the 2LT, 3LT, 2RS, and 3RS trims. You can pick features and performance you want. Options include a panoramic sunroof, heated and ventilated seats, and GM Super Cruise hands-free driving on highways. At its core, the Equinox EV is about practicality. Two-row SUV, space for 5, and generous cargo room. For families seeking an affordable, spacious, tech-forward electric SUV, the Chevy Equinox EV offers an almost unbeatable value proposition for 2025. If the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is the retro-futurist, then its corporate cousin, the Kia EV6, is the sleek, athletic sibling. Built on the same eGMP platform, it takes that core tech and wraps it in a sportier package. The 800-volt architecture, the super-fast charging the V2L feature low-slung, muscular, aggressive, coupe-like silhouette. This sportiness isn't just skin-deep. The EV6 generally has a firmer, more driver-focused suspension setup than the Ioniq 5. It feels more planted and agile in the corners, encouraging you to take the scenic route home. And if you really want to lean into performance, there's the EV6 GT. 576 horsepower, it does 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, rear-wheel drive models, and all-wheel drive models. One of the standout features of the EV6 has always been its impressive range. For 2025, Kia has continued to optimize the powertrain, and the long-range rear-wheel drive model still delivers one of the best range figures in its class, easily topping 300 miles on a single charge. This, combined with the 18-minute 10 to 80% fast charging, makes the EV6 an excellent choice for those who frequently travel long distances. It's a road trip weapon. Inside, the EV6 has a very driver-centric cockpit. The curved display, which seamlessly integrates two 12.3-inch screens, arcs towards the driver, making everything easy to see and reach. The floating center console creates a sense of space, while also housing key controls and storage. I particularly like the switchable touch bar below the main screen. With one touch, it can toggle between climate controls and media shortcuts. So the Kia EV6 takes a winning formula and presents it with a different flavor. It's for the person who values driving dynamics and sporty styling just as much as they value fast charging and long range. Not everyone wants their EV to feel like a spaceship or a sports car. Some people just want a car, a comfortable, quiet, and reliable vehicle that gets them where they need to go with no fuss. For those people, there's the Volkswagen ID.4. This is VW's take on the electric crossover, and it feels exactly like you'd expect a modern Volkswagen to feel: solid, sensible, and user-friendly. It's the German engineering approach to electrification. The ID.4's biggest strength is its comfort. The ride quality is excellent. It soaks up bumps and imperfections in the road beautifully, making for a very serene driving experience. The cabin is extremely quiet, and the seats are supportive, which makes this an outstanding car for long commutes or family trips. For 2025, VW has given the ID.4 some significant and much-needed upgrades, particularly for the models with the larger 82 kilowatt-hour battery. They get a brand new, more powerful drive unit, which bumps the horsepower up considerably and makes the car feel much more responsive and quicker off the line. This new motor is also more efficient, helping to boost the overall range. One of the main criticisms of the early ID.4 was its slow and sometimes buggy infotainment system. For 2025, it gets a new, larger 12.9-inch screen with a completely revamped software interface. It's faster, more intuitive, and the climate controls are now permanently displayed at the bottom of the screen. Best of all, the frustrating touch capacitive sliders for temperature and volume are now backlit, so you can actually see them at night. Thank you, VW. The ID.4 also excels at being a practical SUV. The interior is incredibly spacious. For buyers who prioritize comfort, space, and a straightforward, no-gimmicks ownership experience, the refreshed ID.4 offers tremendous value. It's the sensible, mature choice in the electric SUV market. And finally, we come to a car that really surprised me with its focus on comfort and premium feel. This is the Nissan Ariya. While Nissan was a true pioneer with the Leaf, The Ariya is their first entry into the modern long-range EV crossover space. They've created something pretty special. The Ariya's mission feels less about raw performance and more about creating a serene, lounge-like sanctuary for its passengers. The first thing that strikes you about the Ariya is the design. It's smooth, sleek, and has this timeless Japanese futurism design language. The front shield and lighting are distinctive instead of a traditional grille. It looks premium and elegant, with a quiet confidence to it. That design philosophy extends to the interior, which is where the Ariya truly shines. The cabin is open and airy, with a completely flat floor and a minimalist aesthetic. The dashboard features beautiful wood veneer trim with haptic feedback buttons integrated directly into the surface. When the car is off, they're invisible. When you turn it on, they light up with a soft glow. The center console can also slide forward and back electronically, allowing you to customize your space. Nissan has put a huge emphasis on ride comfort and quietness. The Ariya glides over the road, isolating you from noise and vibrations. Nissan calls this the magic carpet ride, and while that might be a bit of marketing hyperbole, it's not far off. This is easily one of the most comfortable and quietest vehicles in its class. If your priority is a relaxing commute and stress-free travel, the Ariya is a top contender. It's a zen-like experience. On the tech front, the Ariya comes with dual 12.3-inch screens for the gauge cluster and for the infotainment. It supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also offers Nissan's ProPilot Assist 2.0 system on higher trims. This is a hands-off, eyes-on highway driving assist system that can handle steering, acceleration, and braking within a single lane, which really reduces fatigue on long drives. The range is competitive, with some models getting up to or beyond the 300-mile mark. The Ariya's value isn't in winning spec sheet wars, it's in the premium experience it delivers for a mainstream price. It's a fantastic comfort-focused cruiser. So there you have it, 7 of the best value EVs you can get your hands on in 2025. It's clearer than ever that you don't have to spend a fortune to get a great electric car anymore. Whether you prioritize performance like the Mach-E, ultra-fast charging like the Ioniq 5, EV6, ultimate practicality like the Equinox EV, pure comfort like the Ariya, there's a high-value option out there for you. The key takeaway is that value means more than just the lowest price. It's about getting the best possible combination of range, tech, comfort, overall experience for your money. The competition is fierce, and that's a huge win for all of us. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these cars was your favorite? Is there an EV that you think deserved a spot on this list that I missed? Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. The conversation and community feedback is one of the best parts of making these videos, so let's get it started. I'm genuinely curious to see what you all are most excited about for 2025, and that's—
Look up, what do you see? Stars, the moon, maybe a planet twinkling in the dark. For millennia, that was all it was, a beautiful, distant mystery. But today, on September 18th, 2025, that view represents something new. It represents a frontier not just of exploration, but of industry. We are living at the dawn of the space economy. This isn't science fiction anymore, it's the next great chapter in the human story. Businesses, technologies, and jobs that reach beyond our atmosphere. So, what is the space economy? Think of it as all the activities that create value in or for space. It includes launching rockets, building satellites that beam internet to remote villages, and mining asteroids for precious resources. It's the GPS in your car that guides you home. It's the weather forecast that tells you to bring an umbrella. It's the scientists developing new medicines in zero gravity. The space economy is already woven into the fabric of our daily lives, often in ways we don't even notice. When you think of space, you might picture astronauts floating in a space station. But the true workhorses of the space economy are silent and unseen, circling high above our heads. They are satellites. We have launched thousands of them, creating a technological shell around our planet. These satellites are the unsung heroes of our modern world. They are the reason you can call a friend on the other side of the world. They are the reason you can watch a live sporting event from another continent. They are the reason you can pinpoint your location on a map with breathtaking accuracy. They are the foundation of our connected civilization. Consider your daily routine. Did you check the weather this morning? That forecast was made possible by satellites monitoring cloud patterns. Did you use a credit card at the grocery store? That transaction was likely timed and synchronized using signals from GPS satellites. They are vital tools for science and safety. They track wildfires. They monitor the health of our oceans. They measure polar ice melt. They give us early warnings for hurricanes. They are our eyes in the sky, constantly watching over our planet and providing critical data. The business of satellites is also booming. While satellites form the backbone of the current space economy, the most exciting opportunities lie in what comes next. We are pushing beyond Earth's orbit, venturing into the deeper cosmos, not just as explorers, but as entrepreneurs. The next great industries are being born in the vacuum of space, on the moon, among the asteroids. One of the most talked about frontiers is space tourism. Virgin Galactic Blue Origin are already taking paying customers on short suborbital flights to the edge of space, offering them a few minutes of weightlessness and a life-changing view of our planet. The next step is orbital tourism, with private space stations acting as hotels for those who can afford the trip. The moon, for example, is rich in materials like helium-3 and water ice, which can be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen for rocket fuel and breathable air. Mining water on the moon could create a gas station in space, dramatically lowering the cost of missions to Mars and beyond. Further out, the asteroid belt is a treasure trove of metals. A single well-chosen asteroid could contain more platinum group metals than have ever been mined in human history. Manufacturing in microgravity allows for the creation of materials that are impossible to make on Earth. Think of flawless fiber optic cables, perfect crystals for semiconductors, or three-dimensional printed human organs that don't collapse under their own weight. So how can you, an ordinary person, get involved in this cosmic gold rush? You don't need to be a rocket scientist or a billionaire to profit from the space boom. The most accessible way for most people to participate is by investing in the companies that are building this future. The space economy is becoming a mature investment sector with a wide range of companies you can support with your capital. By investing, you are not just seeking a financial return, you are providing the fuel for innovation and helping to accelerate our journey to the stars. There are several categories of companies to consider. First, pure-play space companies. These are businesses whose primary mission is focused on space. SpaceX. Keep an eye on its Starlink subsidiary, Rocket Lab. Astra. Maxar Technologies Viasat. Investing in these companies is a direct bet on the growth of the space industry. Next, you can look at the pick and shovel companies. Picks, shovels, blue jeans. In the space economy, this means investing in the companies that supply the tools and components. Boeing Lockheed Martin. Specialized software advanced materials like carbon composites, sensitive electronics. These companies provide essential support to the entire industry. Finally, don't overlook the companies that use space technology to enhance their business on Earth. Every great adventure comes with risks. While the rewards can be astronomical, go in with your eyes open. Space is hard. A venture can be undone by a technical failure, a change in government policy, or the immense costs involved. Understand the risks. That's step one. Map the asteroid field before you fly through it. The most obvious risk is technical failure. Rockets are incredibly complex. Launches can and do fail. A single explosion on the launch pad can destroy $1 billion satellite and set plans back by years. Satellites can malfunction. Solar panels may fail to deploy or get damaged by space debris. Companies built on a few space assets can be wiped out. Physics is an unforgiving referee. There are no second chances 250,000 miles from home. Space projects take years, sometimes decades, to reach profitability. An asteroid mining mission, for example, needs huge upfront investment in research development and hardware. It could be a decade or more before revenue. That demands patience. Markets can be fickle, and companies can run out of funding long before their vision pays off, leaving investors with nothing. Feeling inspired but not sure where to begin? Taking your first step into space investing doesn't have to be intimidating. You can start small and build your knowledge and confidence over time. The most important thing is to begin with education, not speculation. Before you invest a single dollar, invest your time in learning about the industry. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become an informed participant, not just a passenger. A great starting point for many beginners is through exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. Think of an ETF as a basket that holds stocks from many different companies in a particular sector. There are now ETFs that focus specifically on the space industry. For example, the Procure Space ETF, ticker symbol UFO, or the ARC Space Exploration and Innovation ETF, known as ARC-X, hold shares in a diverse mix of companies, from launch providers to satellite operators and their suppliers. By buying a share of an ETF, you are instantly diversified across the industry, which helps to spread out your risk. If you are more comfortable picking individual stocks, start by researching the established public companies we discussed earlier. Look into large aerospace firms with significant space divisions or satellite communication companies with a long track record of revenue. Read their annual reports, listen to their investor calls, and learn about their long-term strategies. Ask yourself simple questions. How do they make money? Who are their customers? What are their biggest projects for the next 5 years? Most importantly, start with a small amount of money that you are prepared to lose. This is often called risk capital. Think of your initial space investments as a learning experience. It's your tuition for the school of cosmic capitalism. To make informed investment decisions, you need good information. Just as astronomers use telescopes to gather light from distant galaxies, you'll need tools to gather data about the space economy. Fortunately, we live in an age of abundant information, and there are many excellent resources available, often for free. Knowing where to look for reliable news, analysis, and financial data is a critical skill for any aspiring space investor. Start with reputable space industry news outlets. Space News Payload. They report on everything from major government contract awards to the latest funding rounds for startups. Reading these sources regularly will give you a feel for the pulse of the industry. They often feature interviews with CEOs and in-depth analysis of market dynamics. If you're looking at publicly traded companies, you can find a wealth of information on financial websites like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, or your own brokerage's platform. Here you can access stock charts, financial statements, income statement, balance sheet, and analyst reports. For a deeper dive, go directly to the source. The investor relations section on a company's own website, quarterly reports, annual reports, shareholder presentations, transcripts of earnings calls. This is the primary data, the company telling you in its own words how its business is performing. Don't forget the power of community and expert analysis. Newsletters, podcasts, social media accounts dedicated to the space economy. Following analysts and industry experts on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn. Market research firms such as Bryce-Tech Euroconsult. While some of these reports can be expensive, they often release free summaries or white papers. We began by looking up at the night sky. Let us end there, but with a new understanding. Those points of light are no longer just distant objects of wonder, they are destinations, they are resources, they are the scaffolding of a new human economy. We are living in a pivotal moment in history, a time when our reach is finally extending beyond the cradle of Earth. The space economy is not a far-off dream, it is here, and it is
Hello, science fans. Today we're going to talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of a science fiction movie. But it's happening right now, right here on planet Earth. I'm talking about quantum computing. Now don't let the word quantum scare you. It's just a way of describing the incredibly tiny, weird, and wonderful world of atoms and the even smaller particles inside them. Atoms, smaller particles. Think of it this way. Our everyday world follows certain rules. If you drop a ball, it falls down. But in the quantum world, the rules are different. Particles can be in multiple places at once, and they can be mysteriously linked together over vast distances. It's a place of pure possibility. So what is a quantum computer? Simply put, it's a machine built to use these strange quantum rules to solve problems. Instead of just working with information as a simple on or off like a light switch, on-off everything in between, all at the same time. This ability to explore many possibilities simultaneously is its superpower. It's not just a faster version of the computer on your desk. It's a completely new kind of tool, designed to tackle problems that are so complex, so massive, that even the most powerful supercomputers we have today would give up. As we stand here in 2025, we are on the very edge of this new era. To really get what makes a quantum computer so special, let's compare it to the computer you're probably using right now. We call that a classical computer. It thinks in a very straightforward way, using bits. A bit is the smallest piece of information your computer understands, and it can only be one of two things, a 0 or a 1. Think of it like a light switch. It's either on, which is 1, or off, which is 0. Every picture you see, every word you type, every video you watch is just a very, very long sequence of these on and off switches. It's a simple and powerful system that has served us well. Now let's meet the star of the quantum show, the qubit. A qubit, which stands for quantum bit, is a whole different ballgame. Thanks to a quantum principle called superposition, a qubit can be a 0. A qubit can be a 1, or a qubit can be both at the same time. Imagine a spinning coin. While it's spinning in the air, it's neither heads nor tails. It's a blur of both possibilities. It's only when the coin lands, when we measure it, that it settles on one state. A qubit is like that spinning coin, holding multiple values at once. This ability to exist in many states simultaneously is what gives a quantum computer its incredible parallel processing power. This difference is everything. A classical computer with 2 bits can represent one of 4 possible combinations: 00, 01, 10, or 11 at any given moment. A quantum computer with just 2 qubits can represent all 4 of those combinations at the same time. The world of finance, banking, investing, trading is built on numbers, patterns, predictions. It's a world of immense complexity. A tiny advantage can be worth billions of dollars. This makes finance a top arena for quantum computing to make its mark. Banks and financial institutions are already experimenting with quantum-inspired algorithms, preparing for a future where these machines will reshape how money moves around the world. By 2025, we're seeing the first real applications begin to reshape the financial landscape. One of the biggest areas of impact is in financial modeling and risk assessment. Imagine you are an investment firm trying to decide how to manage a portfolio with thousands of different stocks, bonds, other assets. The number of possible combinations and future economic scenarios is astronomical. A classical computer can only analyze a limited number of these possibilities, meaning there's always a degree of guesswork involved. A quantum computer, however, can analyze a vastly larger set of scenarios simultaneously, identifying hidden risks and uncovering optimal investment strategies that are completely invisible to today's best computers. This could lead to more stable markets and better returns for everyone's retirement funds. Another powerful application is in trade optimization. When a large institution wants to buy or sell a huge block of stock, it has to do so carefully to avoid causing a sudden price swing. Quantum computers are perfectly suited for these kinds of optimization problems. They can find the most efficient way to execute trades in real time. Beyond Wall Street, the influence of quantum computing trickles down to everyday banking and financial transactions. Consider the very nature of how we pay for things. The global financial system is a massive network. Ledgers, accounts, messages. It confirms who has what and who owes whom. Processing billions of transactions every day requires immense computing power, and it's not always instantaneous. International money transfers can still take days to clear, passing through multiple intermediary banks, each taking a small fee and adding delay. Quantum computing could dramatically speed up this process. By optimizing routing through the global banking network, quantum algorithms could find the fastest path and the cheapest path for your money. This could make transfers nearly instantaneous and much less expensive. Big win for families sending money to relatives overseas and for small businesses working with international suppliers. By 2025, financial institutions are already building dedicated quantum teams, laying the groundwork for a responsive, intelligent banking future. Now, for every amazing new technology, there's always a flip side to consider. With quantum computing's incredible power comes an equally incredible threat. The very foundation of our modern digital security, the way we protect our bank accounts, our private messages. Our government secrets is based on a type of mathematical problem that is easy one way but hard to undo. It's like mixing 2 specific colors of paint to get a third color. It's easy to mix, but almost impossible to separate them back into their original colors. This is the basis of most modern encryption. The most common form of this is called RSA encryption. It relies on multiplying 2 very large prime numbers together, but factoring the result is extraordinarily difficult. Your secure online banking session, your encrypted emails are protected by this mathematical wall. A classical computer would take billions of years to break a standard RSA key. For all practical purposes, it's unbreakable. This is where the quantum shockwave hits hard. In 1994, Peter Shor developed Shor's algorithm showing a quantum computer could factor those large numbers with mind-boggling speed. It could essentially unmix the paint. It wouldn't take billions of years. It could take hours or minutes. That moment is often called Q-Day. This field is called post-quantum cryptography. PQC researchers are developing new encryption methods based on different, much harder mathematical problems. Think of it as building a new kind of lock that requires a completely different kind of key. A key that a quantum computer's special abilities can't pick. Beyond finance and security, quantum computing promises to be a game changer for countless industries by helping them solve their most complex and expensive problems. These are often optimization problems, where a company has to find the best possible solution out of an astronomical number of choices. Logistics and supply chain management is a perfect example. A company like Amazon or FedEx has to figure out the most efficient routes for its delivery trucks to save fuel and time. With thousands of packages and thousands of destinations, the number of possible routes is staggering. A classical computer can find a pretty good route, but not necessarily the absolute best one. A quantum computer could analyze all the possibilities at once to find the truly optimal solution, saving a company millions of dollars in fuel costs and reducing its carbon footprint. The field of materials, science and drug discovery is another area ripe for a quantum revolution. Designing a new molecule, whether it's for a more efficient battery, a better solar panel, or a life-saving drug, is incredibly difficult. The properties of a molecule are determined by the complex quantum interactions of its atoms and electrons. Simulating these interactions is beyond the power of classical computers for all but the simplest molecules. A quantum computer, however, operates on the same quantum principles as the molecules themselves. While the promise of quantum computing is immense, it's important to remember we are still in the early days. Building and operating a quantum computer is an incredible scientific and engineering challenge. The journey is a marathon, not a sprint, and there are major hurdles researchers must overcome by 2025 and beyond. That's why you can't buy a quantum laptop just yet. The first major problem is decoherence. Qubits are incredibly fragile. Their quantum state, that magical on and off at once property, is easily disturbed by the tiniest vibrations, temperature changes, stray electromagnetic fields. This loss of quantumness is called decoherence, and it causes calculation errors. To prevent this, quantum computers must be kept in highly controlled environments. They're housed in large, elaborate refrigerators, dilution fridges, that cool them colder than deep space, just a fraction of a degree above absolute zero, and shield them from external interference. This fragility leads to the second major challenge: error correction. For every logical qubit that does useful work, scientists may need thousands of physical qubits just to support error correction. Finally, there's the software challenge. Programming a quantum computer is completely different from classical coding. It requires deep quantum knowledge and a new way to think about problems. So, where does all this leave us today on September 18th, 2025? We are at a fascinating and critical tipping point. We are solidly in the era of what scientists call noisy intermediate-scale quantum computing. The machines are noisy because they still suffer from decoherence and errors, and they are intermediate scale because they have hundreds, not millions, of qubits. They are not yet powerful enough to break encryption or design a miracle drug overnight. However, they are powerful enough to start outperforming classical computers on certain very specific scientific problems, a milestone known as quantum advantage. This is a huge deal. The achievement of quantum advantage, even for a narrow task, proves that these machines are not just a theoretical dream. It signals to governments, investors, industries that the quantum revolution is real and it's time to get involved. In 2025, we are seeing a massive acceleration of investment in quantum research and development. Google, IBM, Microsoft. A vibrant ecosystem of startups are in a fierce race to scale up their hardware to improve qubit quality to build more accessible, cloud-based platforms that allow researchers and companies to experiment with their machines. For the average person, the world in 2025 might not look dramatically different on the surface because of quantum computing. We don't have quantum-powered smartphones in our pockets, but behind the scenes, the shockwaves are already spreading. The financial industry is adopting quantum-inspired algorithms for better risk management. The security world is in a full-scale transition to post-quantum cryptography to protect our data from future threats. In research labs, scientists and medicine scientists in materials, scientists in energy, are using today's NISQ computers to run simulations that were never before possible.
So, you want a six-figure tech job, but maybe you're not trying to become a full-time software developer. Well, the good news is, one of the fastest-growing sectors in tech is absolutely booming right now, and it's not all about coding. Cybersecurity is set to explode in 2025. I'm going to walk you through 10 roles that are consistently paying over $100K a year. This isn't just a trend, it's a fundamental shift. Look at the numbers and you see the scale of the opportunity. Global cybercrime costs are projected to hit trillions, yes, trillions with a T, annually. The result? Demand for skilled security professionals is outpacing supply by millions of roles worldwide. Here's the plan. Deep dive into each of the 10 high-paying roles, not just a list. What people in these jobs actually do day to day, what you can realistically expect to earn, typical salary bands in major markets, and the key skills, plus certifications, that get your foot in the door and help you level up. Think of this as a roadmap. Starting out in tech, already in IT and looking for your next move, this breakdown is designed to give you clarity and a clear path forward. By the end, you should know which corner of the cybersecurity universe fits you. As we go through these, I want to hear from you. Drop which role you're aiming for in the comments. Quick tap the like button and subscribe for more career breakdowns. Alright, enough talk, let's get into it. Alright, kicking things off with a foundational role, but one that is absolutely critical: the security engineer. Think of them as the builders and maintainers of a company's digital fortress. They're the ones in the trenches, implementing and managing the security controls that protect the organization's data and systems. This isn't just about installing antivirus software. It's about designing and deploying a multi-layered defense system. Their day-to-day is incredibly varied. One morning they might be configuring a firewall to block malicious traffic, and by the afternoon they could be tuning a CM system to detect suspicious activity. So, what about the money? For a security engineer in a major market, you're typically looking at a salary range of about $110,000 to $160,000. To get there, you need a solid set of core skills. A deep understanding of network security principles is non-negotiable. You need to know your TCP/IP, routing and switching like the back of your hand. Beyond networking, proficiency with CM tools like Splunk or Sentinel is huge, as is experience with endpoint detection and response, EDR, platforms. Basic scripting skills, usually in Python or PowerShell, are a massive advantage. It allows you to automate repetitive tasks and build custom tools, making you far more effective. Certifications can play a big role. CompTIA Security Plus, Sec Plus, is the gold standard for entry-level knowledge. As you advance, CompTIA CISA Plus demonstrates more hands-on analytical skills. These certs aren't just letters, they signal to hiring managers that you have a verified baseline to build on. Next up, we're taking things to the cloud security engineer. As more and more companies ditch their on-premise data centers and move their entire infrastructure to platforms like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, this role has become mission-critical. They are the specialists who ensure that everything the company builds and runs in the cloud is secure from the ground up. It's a different paradigm from traditional security, requiring a unique and highly sought-after skill set. This means they spend their days configuring identity and access management or IAM policies to ensure only the right people and services can access sensitive resources. They're also responsible for managing encryption, often using services like AWS's Key Management Service, KMS, to protect data both at rest and in transit. A huge part of their job is also securing the actual workloads, the virtual machines, containers, and serverless functions that run the business's applications. The demand for these skills is intense, and the salaries reflect that. A cloud security engineer can expect to command a salary in the range of $130,000 to $180,000. To be effective, you need a specific set of technical chops. Infrastructure as code, or IAC, is a big one. Using tools like Terraform, CloudFormation to define and manage your cloud environment allows you to build security directly into your deployment pipelines. You'll also work with cloud security posture management or CSPM tools to continuously scan for misconfigurations, and with the rise of modern applications, knowledge of container security, especially with Kubernetes, is becoming a must-have. For certifications, platform-specific knowledge is king. For the AWS world, the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate is a great starting point to understand the platform, followed by the AWS Certified Security Specialty, which is the holy grail for this role. These certs prove you not only understand cloud architecture but also how to secure it according to best practices. They are a direct signal to employers that you can be trusted with their most critical cloud assets. Alright, let's move up the stack from the infrastructure to the code itself. This brings us to the Application Security Engineer, or AppSec for short. These are the folks who live at the intersection of software development and security. Their primary goal is to make sure the software the company builds is secure from the very beginning. They focus on preventing vulnerabilities before release, not patching them after. An AppSec engineer is deeply embedded in the software development lifecycle, or SDLC. They work alongside developers, performing activities like threat modeling to catch security flaws before a single line of code is written. They master security testing tools, SAST, static application security testing, scans source code for vulnerabilities, DAST, dynamic application security testing, probes running apps for weaknesses. Much of the job is manual code review, hunting subtle logic flaws and insecure patterns tools miss. They act as security champions, training teams to write safer code. That skill set commands a strong salary, typically $120K to $170K. To succeed, you must be comfortable with code. You don't have to be a rockstar developer, but you should know the languages your company uses. Python, Java, JavaScript. Hands-on experience matters most, but certifications can help. CSSLP covers secure SDLC. OSWE is a respected offensive web app cert, though they are definitely more of a nice-to-have than a strict requirement for most roles. Now for a role that a lot of people find fascinating. Penetration tester, also known as an ethical hacker or, in its more advanced form, a red teamer. These are the offensive security professionals. Their job is to think and act like a real-world attacker to find and exploit vulnerabilities in a company's systems before the bad guys do. They are paid to break in, with permission, and with the goal of making the organization more secure. The process of a penetration test is methodical. It starts with scoping, where the tester and the client agree on what systems are in scope and the rules of engagement. Then comes the reconnaissance phase, gathering as much information as possible about the target. This leads into the active part, scanning for vulnerabilities, attempting to exploit them, and trying to escalate privileges to gain deeper access into the network. After the active testing phase is complete, arguably the most important part of the job begins: reporting. A penetration tester's value isn't just in finding flaws, it's in clearly communicating the risk those flaws pose to the business, and providing actionable recommendations on how to fix them. For red teamers, the scope is often broader, simulating a persistent, goal-oriented adversary over a longer period to test the company's detection and response capabilities, not just its preventative controls. This is a highly skilled job, and the pay reflects that, with salaries typically ranging from $110,000 to $160,000, and often much higher for experienced red teamers or freelance consultants. The technical skills required are vast and deep. You need a strong understanding of Active Directory, web application. Hacking skills are also crucial, as are increasingly skills in exploiting cloud environments. For certification, the Offensive Security Certified Professional, or OSCP, is the undisputed king. It's a grueling 24-hour hands-on exam that proves you can walk the walk. Other respected certs include the OSWA for web apps and the CRTO for red teaming tactics. So what happens when the preventative controls fail and an attacker gets through? Security breach, that's where the incident response or IR team comes in. And closely related is the field of digital forensics and incident response, or DFIR. These are the digital firefighters and detectives of the cybersecurity world. When the alarm bell rings, they are the ones who run towards the fire, working under pressure to understand, contain, and eradicate a security breach. Their work begins the moment a potential incident is declared. The first step is triage, quickly assessing the situation to determine the severity and scope of the breach. Is it a single compromised laptop or a widespread ransomware attack? From there, they move to containment, taking action to stop the bleeding, disconnecting infected machines from the network, blocking malicious IP addresses, disabling compromised user accounts. Once the immediate threat is contained, the forensic investigation begins. This is where the DFIR analyst's detective work shines. They perform deep analysis of system logs, network traffic, and memory dumps to piece together exactly what happened. They're looking for the attacker's trail. How did they get in? What did they do once they were inside? Was any data stolen? This is a high-stress, high-impact role, and the compensation reflects that, with salaries typically between $115,000 and $165,000. These professionals need a specific toolset. They must be proficient with endpoint detection and response, EDR, platforms to investigate activity on workstations and servers, as well as CMs for log analysis. Specialized skills in memory forensics using tools like volatility are also incredibly valuable for analyzing malware and attacker behavior that might not leave traces on the disk. To prove you have the right stuff for this demanding field, certain certifications are highly regarded by employers. The SANS Institute offers some of the best, with the GIAC Certified Forensic Analyst (GCFA) being a top-tier cert for forensics, and the GIAC Certified Incident Handler (GCIH) being the gold standard for incident response. If security engineers are the builders, security architects are the master planners, the ones who create the blueprints for the entire security program. This is a senior-level role for experienced professionals. They have a broad and deep understanding of cybersecurity. Their job is to design the overall security posture of the organization, ensuring all the individual pieces fit together into a cohesive, effective defensive strategy. A security architect's work is all about design and strategy. They create high-level designs for concepts like zero trust. Zero trust. Nothing is trusted by default. Every access request is verified. They design network segmentation strategies to limit blast radius. They create frameworks for identity and access management across the enterprise. They spend a lot of time collaborating with other teams, IT infrastructure, application development, business leaders. This ensures security is integrated into every aspect of the business. Compensation sits at the higher end of the spectrum. Typical pay, $140,000 to $200,000, with higher at large enterprises. The path here involves years of hands-on experience across security domains. You can't design the fortress until you've spent time building the walls, monitoring the gates, and fighting off intruders. Experience is the key qualification, especially breadth across infrastructure security, application security, cloud security. Certifications are often expected. CISSP, CSP proves broad managerial cybersecurity knowledge. CCSP for cloud-focused architects. Now let's talk about a role that truly embodies the shift-left mentality in security, the DevSecOps engineer. This role is a hybrid, blending DevOps, automating software delivery, with security. Their mission is to embed automated security controls directly into the CI/CD pipeline, making security an integral, seamless part of development and deployment. A DevSecOps engineer lives in the CI/CD pipeline. It's the automated workflow that takes code from a developer's machine to production. They integrate security tools into this pipeline. This includes software composition analysis, SCA, tools to check open-source libraries, and container and image security scanning to secure the application's building blocks. They are big proponents of policy as code. They write code to define and enforce security policies. Example, Open Policy Agent, OPA, policies that block containers with high-severity vulnerabilities from reaching production. This blend of development, operations, and security skills is in extremely high demand. DevSecOps engineers typically earn $120K, $170K. You need a strong foundation in DevOps principles and tools, GitHub Actions, GitLab CI, Jenkins core skills, infrastructure as code, IAC, and scripting. Comfortable writing code in Python, Go. Hands-on tool experience beats certificates, but cloud and containers are essential. Docker, Kubernetes. Let's zoom out from the internal workings of a company and look at the external threat landscape. This is the domain of the threat intelligence analyst. These are the spies and researchers of the cybersecurity world. Their job is to collect intelligence about threat actors, collect intelligence about malware, collect intelligence about attack campaigns. They help the organization understand who might be targeting them, how they might attack, and why. The workflow is often described as a cycle. It starts with collection, gathering raw data from many sources. Open source intelligence, OSINT, from social media and forums, data from security vendors, information from government agencies, chatter from dark web marketplaces. The real magic is the analysis phase, turning raw data into finished intelligence, correlating different pieces of information, identifying trends, attributing activity to specific threat groups. The final step is reporting and dissemination. Technical reports with indicators of compromise for the incident response team, briefing executives on strategic threats to the business. The salary for this analytical role typically ranges from $110,000 to $155,000. To be an effective threat intel analyst, you need strong analytical and research skills. You have to be curious and tenacious, able to connect disparate dots of information. A solid understanding of OSINT techniques is fundamental. You don't need to be a reverse engineer. Basic malware analysis understanding is very helpful. The GIAC Cyber Threat Intelligence (GCTI) is the most respected and directly applicable credential, proving you understand the full intelligence lifecycle. Here's a role that might surprise you. It's not a purely technical, hands-on security role, but it's incredibly important and high-paying. The Security Product Manager. This is a strategic role that sits at the intersection of engineering, security, sales, marketing. Their job is to define the what and why for a security product, whether it's an internal tool for the security team or a commercial product sold to customers. Think of the Security Product Manager as the CEO of their product. This strategic, cross-functional role typically pays about $130,000 to $190,000. Finally, we arrive at the top of the mountain. The Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO. CISO. Executive-level leadership for the whole information security program. The CISO sets the overall strategy. The CISO manages the security budget. The CISO is ultimately accountable for protecting the company's information assets. Communication with executives and the board is huge. They translate complex technical risks into business terms for the board. They report on the security program. They justify budget requests. This is the pinnacle of a cybersecurity career. Compensation reflects it. Salaries, about $180,000 at smaller companies, well over $350,000 at large enterprises. So, there you have it. 10 different paths in cybersecurity that can lead you to a six-figure salary in 2025 and beyond. We've covered everything from the hands-on builders like security engineers to the offensive hackers on the red team, all the way up to the strategic leaders like the CISO. Cybersecurity is not a monolith. It's a vast and diverse field fitting many skills and interests. You don't have to be a master coder to find a lucrative career. The demand is real, and the opportunity is massive. Think about where you might fit in. Do you enjoy building and tinkering? Maybe a security engineer role is for you. Are you analytical and love solving puzzles? Incident response, threat intelligence? Or are you more of a strategist who enjoys the business side? Security architect, product manager. The path you choose depends on your strengths and interests. That's the key to long-term success. If this helped, do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with a friend looking to get into cybersecurity. Tell me which role you're most interested in. So, let's talk about the future. For years, we've seen technology evolve in, pretty predictable steps. Phones got faster, cameras got sharper, screens got brighter, but every so often a massive shift happens. Something more than an upgrade, a whole new platform. Think about the jump from desktop computers to smartphones. It changed everything. It created new industries, new jobs, new ways for us to connect. We're at the edge of another shift now. It's called the metaverse. More than a buzzword. The next evolution of the internet. An internet you can actually step inside. Imagine a persistent shared digital space where you can work, play, shop, socialize. Not one app or game owned by one company. A vast network of interconnected virtual worlds. Hop from a virtual concert to a collaborative work meeting with a consistent digital identity. Your avatar. This isn't science fiction, the building blocks are already here. First up, let's talk about one of the biggest and honestly wildest trends, virtual real estate. This is exactly what it sounds like. People and companies are buying plots of digital land inside popular metaverse platforms like Decentraland, The Sandbox, Otherside. Think of these platforms as digital cities. Just like in a real city, location matters. A plot near a major virtual venue A popular brand's headquarters, a high-traffic social hub, is more valuable than one out in the digital wilderness. It's all about foot traffic, or in this case, avatar traffic. So what do you do with a piece of virtual land? You build on it. This is where the real opportunity for small businesses and creators comes in. You could build a virtual storefront to sell digital or even physical goods. Imagine a sneakerhead opening a virtual shop where avatars can try on and buy exclusive digital sneakers. You could build an art gallery to showcase and sell NFT art. You could even build a virtual event space, a concert hall, a conference center, a nightclub, and rent it out to others. The land itself is the foundation, but what you create on it generates the income. Let's look at a simple example. Next, let's get into something a bit more personal: digital fashion. In the real world, the clothes you wear are a form of self-expression. They say something about your personality. They say something about your status. They say something about your tribe. In the metaverse, where your avatar is your identity, this is amplified. People want their digital selves to look good, and they are willing to pay for it. Digital fashion, or drip for your avatar, is exploding into a multi-billion-dollar market. This isn't just about simple skins in a video game. We're talking about high-fashion, limited edition items designed by major brands and independent creators. The opportunities here are massive, especially for small designers and creative individuals. You don't need a factory or a supply chain. All you need is 3D modeling software and a creative vision. You can design a unique virtual hoodie, a pair of glowing sneakers, or a futuristic accessory. Then you can mint it as an NFT to prove authenticity and scarcity, and sell it on a marketplace. Big brands like Gucci, Nike, Balenciaga. They're already selling virtual items for thousands of dollars, but the field is wide open for independent artists to make a name for themselves. A young fashion designer in a small town can create a piece of digital clothing and sell it to a global audience without leaving their desk. They can create designs impossible in the real world. Clothes made of fire, jackets that change color with the virtual weather, shoes that leave a trail of stars. The metaverse isn't just a place to own things, it's a place to do things. The demand for unique virtual events and experiences is one of the most powerful forces shaping this new digital landscape. We've already seen massive concerts, Travis Scott, Ariana Grande, inside games like Fortnite drawing in millions of attendees. But in 2025, this is expanding far beyond just music. We're talking about interactive movie premieres, corporate conferences, product launch parties, virtual theme parks, immersive educational workshops. This is where small businesses and entrepreneurs can really shine. You don't need to be a global superstar to host a successful metaverse event. A local band could host a gig for fans all over the world. A fitness instructor could lead a virtual yoga class mountaintop a beach. A chef could host an interactive cooking class where participants' avatars gather in a virtual kitchen. The cost of putting on an event like this is a fraction of what it would be in the real world. You don't need to rent a physical venue, hire security, deal with complicated logistics. Let's break down how you could profit. First, you can sell tickets. Second, you can sell virtual merchandise. At a virtual concert, this could be a limited edition avatar t-shirt, a special glowing effect that only attendees receive. Third, you can secure sponsorships. Brands are desperate to reach the metaverse audience. They will pay to have their logos products featured in your virtual event space. The creator economy has already changed the internet. People have built careers on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, but, the metaverse is about to take this to a whole new level. It offers creators new tools, new ways to monetize a more direct relationship with their fans. Instead of just creating two-dimensional videos, photos creators can now build three-dimensional worlds, interactive games, social experiences. This is, honestly, the creator economy on steroids. Think about a popular YouTuber who reviews tech. In the past, they would make a video about a new phone. In the metaverse, they could build a virtual lab where their subscribers can come and interact with three-dimensional models of all the latest gadgets. They could host live interactive Q&A sessions inside this space. They could even sell virtual merchandise like an avatar t-shirt with their channel's logo. This deepens the connection with their audience from a passive viewer relationship to an active community membership. The audience isn't just watching content, they're living inside it. Monetization is also becoming more direct. Instead of relying solely on ad revenue, creators in the metaverse can sell digital assets directly to their fans. A three-dimensional artist can sell their virtual sculptures. A game developer can sell custom-built mini-games, escape rooms. A digital architect can design and sell prefabricated virtual homes, business templates that people can deploy on their virtual land. Alright, we have to talk about NFTs. For a while there, NFTs got a reputation for being overpriced cartoon pictures, and to be fair, a lot of the early hype was just that. But in 2025, the technology has matured. We're moving beyond the NFT as a simple image phase into the NFT as a utility phase. An NFT or non-fungible token is essentially a unique digital certificate of ownership stored on a blockchain. This tech proves you own something in the digital world, and its applications go far beyond just art. Think of NFTs as digital keys. An NFT could be your ticket to a virtual concert, granting you access to the event. It could be a membership card for an exclusive social club, unlocking a private Discord channel, unlocking a special area in the metaverse. It could be the deed to your virtual land, proving you are the rightful owner. It could be a unique wearable for your avatar, like a rare pair of sneakers that you truly own and can sell or trade independent of any single game or platform. This is where the real power lies. So how can a small business use this? Let's go back to the coffee shop example. The shop could sell a loyalty card NFT. Anyone who holds this NFT gets a free virtual coffee for their avatar every day, and a 10% discount on all purchases in the real-world store. This NFT becomes a valuable tradable asset. If the brand becomes popular, the value of that NFT could go up, rewarding early supporters. It turns customers into investors and evangelists for your brand. It's a powerful tool for building a loyal community. Stop thinking of NFTs as just the art itself. Start thinking about what they unlock or what they represent. They are the plumbing that makes true digital ownership possible. I've touched on this a few times, but it's so important that it needs its own section. In any major tech shift, there is a massive advantage to being an early mover. Think about the people who started creating content for YouTube back in 2006 or 2007. They were entering a space with very little competition. It was easier to get discovered, build an audience, establish themselves as an authority. They defined the platform. Trying to start a new YouTube channel today is infinitely harder because the space is so saturated. The metaverse in 2025 is like YouTube in 2006. The same principle applies to virtual real estate. The people who bought land in Decentraland. The sandbox paid pennies for plots that are now worth hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. They got the best locations before everyone else realized their value. While prices have gone up, we are still in the early phases of adoption. The vast majority of the world's population is not yet in the metaverse. As those next billion users arrive, the demand for well-established spaces, brands, creators will explode. Getting in now is how you position yourself to benefit from that wave. There's also a knowledge advantage. By jumping in now, you are starting on a learning curve that others will have to climb later. You'll understand the culture, you'll know which platforms are gaining traction, and you'll have experience building and creating in this new environment. When big brands and corporations decide they need to seriously invest in the metaverse, who do you think they'll hire? They'll look for the individuals and small agencies who are already there, who have a portfolio of work, and who understand the landscape. Your early experiments today could become your high-paying consulting gigs tomorrow. So you're inspired, you see the potential, you want to get started. Where do you even begin? It can feel overwhelming, but the first steps are actually pretty simple. The goal isn't to become a metaverse millionaire overnight. The goal is to start exploring, learning, and experimenting. Here is a clear step-by-step path you can take starting today. Don't just watch from the sidelines, it's time to jump in and get your hands dirty. First, just be a user. Download a few leading metaverse platforms. Create an avatar. Spend a few hours just walking around. Visit different places. Attend a free event. Talk to people. Go to Decentraland, go to the sandbox, go to Roblox, see what you like and what you don't. Get a feel for the culture and see what other people are building. This initial exploration phase is crucial. It costs you nothing but time, and it's the most important research you can do. Your goal is to find your corner of this new world. Second, set up your digital infrastructure. This means getting a crypto wallet. A wallet like MetaMask is your passport to the decentralized web. It's how you'll hold cryptocurrency, buy NFTs, and interact with many metaverse platforms. It's your digital identity and your bank account rolled into one. Learn how to use it safely. Understand what a seed phrase is and why you should never share it. This is a foundational step. Even if you don't buy anything right away, having a wallet set up means you're ready to act when you find an opportunity. Finally, start creating. You don't have to build a skyscraper on day one. Start small. Download Blender, a powerful and free 3D modeling program, and watch some beginners